everyone! This week we are going to have 3 videos exploring the topic of musical expression. Each video will be covering one aspect of musical expression. Here I have in 3 columns the 3 aspects that we will be covering: tempo, dynamics, and articulation. My recommendation is that you create a set of notes that breaks each of these columns up like so, and use this as a study guide. The first general topic that we will be covering in this video is tempo. Tempo relates to the speed of the music, or how fast and slow you are playing the music. Here it is in writing so that you can put this into your notes. With musical expression in terms of tempo, it's a nice concrete way of measuring. Tempo is measured in beats per minute. So before I put the answers on the board, I want you to think about what are a couple of ways that we can measure time. How can we measure beats per minute and how those units are made up? Alright, hopefully you have given this some thought. 2 ways to measure that we use on a day-to-day basis. The first one is your heart rate. So when your heart, when the doctors are taking your blood pressure, they are looking for, one of the things they're looking for is how many beats per minute your heart is moving, in addition to the pressure that it's moving at. So your heart rate, if your heart rate is low, generally that's around anywhere from 45 to 60 beats per minute, and when you are active and exercising, your heart rate goes higher, anywhere from maybe 100 to 170 depending on how intense your workout is. And the other way is a clock or a watch. If you notice when the little hand, the second hand is clicking, each one of those is 1 beat per second. Thus your time for beats per minute is 60 beats per minute. In the music world, we don't use a stethoscope to measure our beats per minute. Instead, we have a fancy tool called a metronome. A metronome is a musical device that measures beats per minute. On most music, you will find the tempo marking written in the top left-hand corner of your music, right at the beginning. Now, this one, this example is a little bit broad. It says tenderly with warmth, unhurried. Now, most music is written in Italian, so more modern music you'll find English terms to describe your tempo. However, in almost all classical music, you will find sometimes you'll have the number markings, but generally you will have Italian terms to describe how fast or slow you would be playing the music. What we're going to do today is cover most of those Italian terms and translate them and determine how exactly fast or slow you would be expected to play those tempo markings. On the board I have 6 terms. We're going to start at the top with the word allegro. Allegro translates to fast. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go down in order, giving it the English translation, and then we're going to go back and give each of these tempo markings a specific beat per minute range. So allegro would be fast. We're going to go down, we're actually going to skip over to allegretto. So it's very similar to allegro. The root is the same, giving it that suffix with the eto slows it down a little bit. So it's going to be moderately fast. And I'm just abbreviating to save some room on my board. Allegretto is moderately fast. Going back to the second one, andante. Andante translates, the literal term is walking speed. A general tempo for walking, it's not a brisk walk, it's more of a stroll pace. So each one of these clicks here that I'm creating is the general tempo for what we would define as a walking speed. Moving on to adagio. Adagio translates to slow. The last two here, you have largo, which is very slow, and presto. Think of like if you want something done pronto. Presto translates to very fast. Back up to the top with allegro and fast. So what tempo marking would be suited best for this tempo marking? Usually you are in the range for your quarter note being anywhere from 110 to 135. So that is your range, anywhere set between the quarter note at 110 to 135. We're going to go back to allegretto, moderately fast. So this would be your quarter note being anywhere from about 90 to 110. 90 to 110 would be your set beats per minute. Andante is your walking speed, so this would be the andante walking speed. This would be anywhere from quarter note being about 75 to 90. Andante speed, 75 to 90. Adagio, we're getting pretty slow here. Adagio, you are looking at anywhere from 50 to 75 beats per minute. So adagio being 50 to 75. Largo is going to be anything less than 50. Sorry, I'm like right on the edge here. Largo is anything slower than 50. So if you're thinking about that resting heart rate, you should be measuring anywhere from, well, ideally anything lower than 60. If you're at about 45, you're already very healthy resting heart rate. But yeah, anything lower than 50. And presto is going to be anything greater than 135. So these are your tempo markings that have an approximate range of beats per minute. So one more time at the top. Allegro meaning fast, with a beat per minute range of 110 to 135. Andante is walking speed, where your quarter note is ranging between 75 and 90. Adagio, slow, and your range anywhere is from 50 to 75. Allegretto is moderately fast, so your quarter note is between 90 and 110 beats per minute. Largo is very slow, which is going to be anything lower than 50 beats per minute. And Presto is very fast, where the quarter note is anything above 135. We're going to add 4 other terms that are not going to be given a tempo marking assignment. With each 4 of these words, there is a derivative that helps to remember or to kind of envision what those should sound like. The first one at the top is vivace. Vivace, our root here is the viva. If anyone has ever heard the phrase viva la vida, or like if we're actually translating this into English, you're measuring your vital signs, that is relating to life. So the translation for vivace is lively. Vivace means to play it lively. So typically that is on the faster side, but again, there's not an exact beat per minute range that is associated with this word. If you are playing this with an ensemble and if your tempo marking says vivace, your conductor will determine how fast they would want you to play that. Another one is dolce. Dolce. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried dolce de leche, but it is a very, very sweet dessert. So dolce translates to sweet. So it might not necessarily relate to fast or slow, but when you think of music as being sweet, it's typically on the lighter side, kind of held back in tempo. It's not rushing, but it's not dragging either. It's kind of at a moderate pace, but it is very light. Down here I have a squiggle mark to separate these next 2 words, accelerando and ritardando. The reason I've separated them is because they have a little bit of a different function than any of the other tempo markings. Accelerando, if we look at the root here, actually I'm going to back this up even more. To excel, if a car is accelerating, it is getting faster. So the translation for accelerando is to get faster. And again, we can't really assign this a specific tempo marking because you are starting at one speed and you are getting faster to another speed. And on the contrary, we have ritardando. If you are tardy to class or school, you are late. So the translation for ritardando is getting slower. So once again, vivace is lively, dolce is sweet, accelerando is to get faster, ritardando is to get slower. For a study guide, what I would like for you to do is to create a set of notes. So you can have all of that in one column. If you tend to write on the larger side, you can even do 3 separate pages, so have tempo dedicated to one page of its own. Once you have studied that, what I would like for you to do is either make flashcards, or you can also do like popsicle sticks and have the Italian word on one side and then the English translation on the other side with the tempo range, depending on if it has a range assignment that I had gone over with you. And what I would like for feedback is 2 things. The first thing is with the terms that were on the first page, or the first board that I had written out, I would like for you to send me the order of tempo going from slowest to fastest. So the top one should be your slowest tempo, and then at the bottom should be your fastest tempo. So that is 6 terms, I believe. 6 of those Italian words. So everything that was on the first page, not on the second page. And the other thing is, once you have made your flashcards or popsicle sticks or whatever you want to use for study guide that isn't your notes, I would like for you to take a picture and just show me, and we'll kind of go on the honor system as far as how you are remembering those terms. Tomorrow's video will be covering the second topic, which is dynamics. So we will go through a whole range of dynamic markings and symbols, and that will be tomorrow's video. Take care and have a great night.